Well. Back at it again. Bet you didn't know I was going to be doing back to back videos. Me neither. Me neither. But in the spirit of being obedient and releasing the things, here I am releasing the things. Because, when I talked about obscurity and being afraid and not doing the things in the last video, I was like, yeah, we should come out of that. That's what I said. I said, we should come out of that. And so here I am. I'm not being disobedient. I'm not being doubtful. I'm not living in fear. I'm doing the things. And if you're like, girl, what you talking about? Go watch the last video. Obscurity. Refuge without repentance. Clock it. But anywhoosers, hi. I'm Destiny Danielle. Welcome to my DESTalk. And tonight is I've Got You. I've got you now. When survival becomes strategy. This one, the workbook title is She Was Just Trying to Keep Me Safe. And this one isn't for everybody. There are some people who have internal protectors that are warriors. They are cutthroat. They are no nonsense, not taking a mess from nobody. They gonna say what's on their mind, and they don't give a darn who don't like it. Then there are some of us who our internal protector is a little more docile, a little quieter. Now, honestly, if you really want to get into the nooks and crannies of it, all of our internal protectors really are our childhood selves. And even those of us who we get a little rowdy, that's your kid self. That's your little on the inside of you trying to fill a void somewhere. Not gonna dive into that right now. But low key gonna dive into that right now. Because I don't know about you, if you've ever realized that the voice in your head isn't actually you. It's the child version of you that just had to survive. When I realized that my internal protector wasn't a fierce warrior, it stung a little bit. It rocked me a little bit. And when I dug a little deeper within myself to figure out that not only was she none of those things, she was actually my 6-year-old self, like afraid, overly apologetic, not wanting to disappoint anyone, not wanting to be punished. She doesn't care about the truth. She doesn't care about her truth. She cares about safety. And so I've spent years, decades, people pleasing, shrinking, second guessing myself, not because I didn't know what I wanted to say, but because I was still trying to avoid punishment that doesn't even exist anymore. And let me tell you, it's exhausting. But here's where I got breakthrough. Little Destiny was just doing her job. She then needed to shrink, needed to people please, she found her way of how to keep the grown-ups happy to keep me safe. She was literally doing her job. And so she kept me safe when I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the language, I didn't have the protection. But at my big grown age, I had to sit down with her. On social media now, you'll see people talk about I took my younger self to coffee. Well, me and my 6-year-old self didn't go out for coffee. We sat in the corner and we cried together. Because I had to sit her down and I had to tell her, thank you for surviving. I had to tell her, I'm not 6 anymore. And so I'm safe to tell the truth. I don't have to perform to earn love anymore. I don't have to be perfect to be protected anymore. I've got this now. I had to tell her that I've got you now. And being able to tell little me that she can rest brought me to tears then and is low-key trying to bring me to tears now. But we got to make it through this without it being extra long and drawn out. And I was only able to sit down and have that conversation with little Destiny because the adult, grown up, whatever that means, version that she fought so hard to protect is ready to rise up. Like, Shorty finally showed up to the party. Grown up me has entered the group chat. And glory be to God for the tools and the resources to even be able to have this conversation, this discussion, rather. And so, if this makes no sense, sit with the Lord, and I guarantee you, He's going to let you know that the 8-year-old you has been doing all of the talking for you. That 5-year-old you, that one time that you showed mommy that picture and she didn't like it, that seed of rejection was sown and it's been festering the entirety of your life. That's what we're talking about right now. And I'm going to walk you through a process called reparenting. It's a beautiful process that literally is about giving your younger self the care, safety, and language they did not have then. The care and the safety and the language that they never received, so that your present self can live healed, whole, happy, free. It's not about blaming your parents. A large part of this is forgiving your parents, is understanding that they did the absolute best that they could do with what they had. And that's okay. It's also not about staying stuck in your childhood. It's not about those bullies that were mean to you, those rude girls that talked about your shoes. We're not staying there. It's about partnering with God to meet the needs that went unmet so that your younger self no longer has to lead your adult life. The scripture says that when I spoke like a child, when I thought like a child, when I spoke like a child, but now that I'm adult, I put away childish things. That's what we're here to do. Because when we're children, we internalize everything. How we are treated, how we are spoken to literally becomes our internal dialogue, and we carry that through our adulthood. So if love was conditional, we learn to perform. If honesty was punished, we learn to hide. If needs went unmet, we learn to overfunction and to overcompensate. And so reparenting helps us to identify those messages and rewrite those narratives with truth. It helps you to respond from your healed self instead of your hurt self. And so that 1 Corinthians 13:11, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That does not mean that we are denying our inner child. It means that we are recognizing that she has been leading our lives and gently inviting her to rest. We're not denying, we're not suppressing, we're not pushing her to the side. We're saying we're taking her to coffee or sitting in the corner, whatever you decide to do, and saying, it's okay. We're safe now. We don't have to perform for love. We don't have to justify our existence. So, how do we do that? One, disarming her with familiarity. I want you to think about, have you ever apologized when you weren't wrong? Because a lot of times we don't even realize that we're in survival mode. We just think that these are natural parts of our personality. These are personality traits. It's just who I am. Actually, it's not who you are, it's who you were. Do you ever like replay conversations in your head to make sure you didn't mess it up? Do you ever feel bad about resting? That's not your personality. That's your protection. She didn't choose to be this way. She was trained and conditioned to be this way. Number two, I realized that my reactions weren't rooted in truth, they were rooted in trauma. And it's the trauma that my younger self didn't have the tools and resources to navigate. And so I thought that the silence was what was going to keep me safe. And for a while, it did. I thrived in silence. I thrived in being able to sweep things under the rug. I thrived in being able to suppress whatever I was dealing with, whatever I was feeling, because I didn't have the resources to navigate it. So your protector may feel the same way. So the second thing that we have to do is meet the protector. Meet the version of us who has been speaking up. The third thing that we need to do is to assess our patterns and know that those patterns are strategy, not identity. You're not crazy for feeling like you can't breathe when you disappoint someone. That's a pattern. Highlight the pattern. In the She Was Just Trying to Protect Me workbook, there's a space for you to name the behavior and to connect them with childhood instincts. And I want you to ask yourself, what age would respond like this? Is this how my healed self would respond? Or is this how my hurt self would respond? And honestly, that is a tool that you can take in your everyday get out of bed life. Pause before you respond or react. And ask yourself, am I about to respond or react from my healed self or my hurt self? Number 4, reparenting in real time. You don't need to reject your younger self to be healed. You need to reclaim her. A lot of us have been walking around miserable and bitter because we've rejected our younger selves. Because nobody ever told us it was okay to cry. It was always the opposite. It's not about coddling your pain. It's about giving your younger self what you never got: the safety, the language, the love without condition. It's about knowing that you're not broken. It's about knowing that you are becoming, and that little girl on the inside of you doesn't have to protect you anymore, because the woman she was protecting just showed up. It's time for your healed present self to enter the group chat. And so if this DESTalk has unlocked something for you, don't let it stop here. Grab the She Was Just Trying to Protect Me workbook from the description box. Join me in the postured journey and know that I've got you. Know that reparenting looks like speaking to yourself with gentleness, not judgment. It means allowing you to rest without guilt. It looks like asking yourself, what did I need back then? And how can I give it now? It looks like letting the Father reintroduce you to the child He created. So before I leave you, I want to do a guided meditation with you. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. And I want you to do that again. Inhale peace. Exhale pressure. Inhale truth. And exhale tension. Allow your body to begin to soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders lower. Let your belly loosen. Let yourself be held in this moment by the breath of God. Now picture yourself standing in a wide open space. It's quiet, safe, still. Maybe it's a garden. Maybe for you it's a living room. Maybe even a sunlit field. And off in the distance, you see a little girl. She looks just like you. You notice that she's not in pain, but she's very alert, holding her breath. And you walk toward her slowly. And you kneel down next to her to be with her. Not to fix her, not to question her, but to exist with her in this moment. Now gently say to her, I see you. I didn't always know you were here, but I feel you now. And I recognize how hard you've worked to keep us safe. Always watching, always pleasing, always protecting. You were brilliant in the way that you've survived. But you don't have to carry that job anymore. And I want you to place your hand on your heart now as if you're placing it on hers. And take a deep breath here. And let your heart speak to her for a moment. What does she need to hear in this moment? Does she need to hear you're not in trouble anymore? Does she need to hear you don't have to be perfect to be loved? I won't leave you unheard again. Now imagine gently standing up, and instead of leaving her behind, you take her hand and she steps into you, not to disappear, but to integrate. And she becomes a vibrant light inside of you, loved, seen, protected. And in this moment, you're not abandoning her. You're carrying her in the right way. Not in fear, not in silence, but in truth. And now whisper over yourself, I lead from my healed self, not my survival self. I am safe to be honest. I am safe to be seen. I've got you now, and I'm not going anywhere. And stay here as long as you need to for a few more breaths. Inhale, safety. Exhale, self judgment. Inhale, grace. Exhale, grief. And when you're ready, slowly return to your body by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, stretching out your neck. And when you open your eyes, know that you are whole, you are healing, and your little girl can rest. Thank you. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for existing. This is Destiny Danielle signing off. Thanks for joining my DESTalk. I love you to wholeness, and I mean it. Peace.